What up, what up, what up, what up? What's going on, everybody? It's another Friday night. You know what it is. You are live watching WJZZ, Cool TV. And this is what? It's the quarantine. With Drake. And always, I got who? Miss Roz. Roz?
Thank you.
Yourself, please.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to the quarantine this evening. I'm Roslyn M. Ogburn. You could have been anywhere else, but you tuned in tonight at 8 p.m. with us, and we thank you.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I know you all missed me last week. Hell, I missed myself. But I had to take care of some very important business, and I'm proud to announce tonight that I am a new member of Groove 5 Groove Social Fellowship Incorporated.
Right.
If you need to know more about them, you can get at me, but they started in 1962 at Morgan State College, now known as Morgan State University.
Okay.
So, hey, what up, though? All right, so with that being said, introducing myself to the world, I'm about to introduce y'all to this week's BS. And as bad as I don't want to stop this music, because I love it, I got to drop this station stuff for you real quick. All right, WJZZ Cool TV streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Live, live, like, follow, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Get at us. We do this for y'all. It's an information thing, man, so you know what we do. To sponsor, advertise, email us at WJZZCoolTVOfficial@gmail.com. Also, the Backyard Boogie, can't forget about that. Free food, live music, some good stuff goes on around here. 19730 Ralston. Hey, it's a party, y'all. And the governor kind of letting up on these restrictions. I mean, I still got my mask. Oh, a Groove 5 Groove mask, you know. Keep my G's on, represent the G's all the time. So if you want to come through, Sunday we here, 3 to 9 o'clock. Bring your chair, unless you like sitting on the grass. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with that either. It's BYOB. Like I said, free food, and that food is good, man. The food is good, man. So come on through. With that being said, let's get into it.
Let's go.
Biden and the Retrumpicans. Hey, man, look.
Retrumpicans. That's a new one.
No, it ain't. You
That's the first time I heard Retrumpicans.
That's like the first time you heard that from me?
Yeah.
Man, I thought I was blasting that the whole election. But, you know, it just seems to bother me that you got people that want to holler bipartisan this, bipartisan that, what, and this, that, and the other. But they not.
This, that, and the other, huh?
I look like I got a caller. What's good? Who is this?
G. Fars.
What's up, man? Well, I need to know your name. I know the org because I definitely know what the G5 is. What's your name, man?
You already know who it is, man.
Well, the world need to know who you are, man.
Got to do a formal introduction, sir.
It's Get It Done. Get It Done.
Yes, sir. This is my line brother, Chris Harper from Iowa, man. And we went through a pretty decent, I ain't going to say decent. It was fun.
Humbling experience.
It was Stone Cold. What do you say? Stone Cold. It was Stone Cold serious. And
yes, sir.
We got it done. So I mean, like I said, we are new members of Groove 5 Groove, and we plan on doing some good things with the organization. Man, how you feeling down there in Iowa, man?
Oh, I'm feeling good. I just want to say, give a shout out to the commissioner and to the lovely lady next to you. I love what you guys do. I tune in almost every Friday to hear what you guys say. But all the love from Iowa.
Hey, man, thank you, dog, and I love you, bro, and I will talk to you soon.
All right.
Man.
All right, shout out for Iowa.
Hey, I'm going to tell you.
And you know, Tarnetta got stomping grounds down in Iowa. Remember she was doing that organizing down there, so you got to get them connected. Yes.
Yeah. I ain't going to hold you up, man. Since I've gotten into this, I've never seen a group of brothers that's just, like, I got guys calling me old as hell. Like, look, I'm about to send you this, that, and the other. Really?
Camaraderie.
Yeah, man. It's like, hey, I stepped into the right thing at the right time. But all right, look. Damn, it's almost 8:05. Damn, Chris.
You can take a couple minutes. Yeah. You know, since we had ladies' nights last week, give him a couple minutes, ladies and gentlemen.
I ain't gonna take it because the Rise Report is too good. It's too hot tonight. But we got the city elections coming. Ladies and gentlemen, that's one of the reasons we got the guests we had tonight, because the city elections is so hot. It's so important that we get out here. If you like who you like, vote for them. If you don't like who they have, vote again. That's your job as a voter. I'm sick of explaining it. Get the hell out. Stop complaining to me in the wee hours of the night and vote.
Vote.
I can only vote for my interests. I can't vote for yours. Rosin can't vote for yours. She can represent you. I can represent you next year. Wink. But you have to be the ones to put us in those seats, other people in those seats. If you don't go out there and go against what you don't like, guess what? What you don't like sits there. And I have to hear from you for the next 4 years. Or 8. Or 12. 16. Whatever. But
Talk the truth.
Matt Gaetz and the child trafficking still heating up. I just don't understand. You know, this grand old party seems to be grand old full of BS, man. Like, you got the chick that's comparing this, that, and the other, the Holocaust and all this, and you got the Matt Gaetz
so out of order.
playing with the little kids, and he's still sitting around. It's like, where are we going? You all really almost don't have a moral ground to stand on anymore. Mm-hmm. All this, that, and the other of your morality and being such great people is a cock of BS at this point in time.
It is.
800 millions. 800 millions.
800 millions.
800 millions. 800 millions coming to the city of Detroit soon.
A lot of moolah.
What are we going to do with it? I'm sorry. The first thing, and people might get upset with me. Okay, not the first thing. Second thing. First thing is getting these houses repaired.
There we go.
But second thing I want, and it's just me personally, I need to have us with a doggone outdoor batting cages in the city of Detroit.
Yeah.
You can put them right up there, not Butzel. I like Butzel, but not Butzel. At Tyndall Rec Center.
Mm-hmm. Tyndall, where's that located?
7 Mile in Wyoming.
Okay.
Off of Griggs.
Mm-hmm.
You can put it there and actually let some of those community members come run that thing. Why?
I like that.
For the simple fact, these community groups, they want money, right? Mm-hmm. And some of these people need employment, right? Mm-hmm. That's a way to employ people at least for 6 months out the damn year.
Yeah, because the current funding is only for 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I will say is this. $800 million, 800 millions. 2 of these doggone fields need to have a dome over it. So you can have year-round activity.
There we go. Because we're a seasonal state.
Bingo. We are a seasonal state. So you can build all the outdoor activity you want to. Mm-hmm. But when that hawk come and that bastard breathing on your neck and everything is shimmering and shimmering and, you know, I'm a little fella, man. You know, so my bones kind of get brittle sometimes, you know. So let's just really think about some of these things. But anyway, I've talked too much. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you again. I'm stepping out the picture. I talked too much. I wasn't here last week. I'm sorry. Tardy me. Roz, it's on you.
Thank you, Dre. My name is Rosin M. Ogburn. I am here for the Rosin Report, and I am your candidate for state representative for 2022. Dre actually hit on some real crucial stuff, but I'm going to touch base on the parks and literally having access to batting cages as I close out. But I want to discuss where he actually pivoted towards our elections and making sure we have the most qualified candidate accessible to us. But I want to talk to the residents about what we expect as a candidate. If I, as a regular resident, start thinking about what I'm looking for as a candidate, one, I want, of course, one that is listening to my issues and my voice. But I also want to make sure that the individual is educated of the role and the expectations of what we kind of, perceive that they're supposed to do, but also the level of professionalism. And what I have identified in our community, and I want to specifically call out District 7, because that's the district I live in, ladies and gentlemen. I'll call it out as Warrendale, Cody Rouge, Far West Side Aviations, and etc. South of 96, middle area of Southfield, going east of Telegraph. And I say that because right now we don't have city council representation.
Yes, ma'am.
And so we as a community, we've always been unified. Even when our current council was under indictment and he was hiding from us, not really doing the work, right? We still, as block club leaders, precinct delegate, our radio patrol, we got in the community, we did the work. But what I've identified now is that people are focusing on really like just getting in the news or getting their name thrown out, but not really intentional about doing the work. And I just want to call you out that if you're not about doing the work, if you're not about progressing for our communities and making sure our future thrive and we have access to things we normally did not or are still not having access into our communities, we want to tell you, please move aside. Please get out the way, because what we think you're doing and we know you're doing, you're being toxic. You're muddying the waters, and you're stopping us from really doing the work that we need to do. I'm going to call it out. We're one of the most powerful community and districts in the city. But what we can't have is messiness. We can't have people that are just in the space to make noise, but behind the scenes, they're doing absolutely nothing. So as me presenting the Roslyn Report, oh no, I don't like to drop names, so I'm not going to be that disturbing or that wig snatching, right? But what I do want to say is that it's time to stop with the crab in the barrel. It's time to stop fighting among ourselves, but moving towards the higher cause, because there's 39 policies right now that's stopping us or trying to stop us from voting. For those that don't know, that I was in the Georgia elections runoff race. I had the ability to actually see it at full frontal. I had Cobb, Paulding, and Douglas County. Cobb County, they totally restricted and took all their voting polls away from them. And so we had to literally say, wait a minute, what did you just do? Did you take 30 voting polls, literally? And the community said, hold on, bring them back. Let's have a conversation about that. And they actually put back 5 of them. So I say that's down south, but we're in Michigan, supposed to be in a progressive state. But technically, ladies and gentlemen, we don't have control of the House. So I leave you with that if we're still fighting at a local level, not making sure our local and our county and our state is unified, and we're still drawing lines, right? Right? We're redistricting. We're actually redrawing our lines to actually have representation. So if we don't really move together effectively and be united, really, what are we doing? Are we being productive, or are we being used by the enemy? Thank you for the Roslyn Report, and I transfer it back over to you, O.
I guess we can end the show tonight. There's really nothing I can do to follow that up. So, to hell with it. We out this motherfucker. But no, that's real talk, man. And it's... I wanted to say it a few times, but when you say what you say about playing basically bad actors, that seems to be what's plaguing us as a city.
Yes.
You get so many damn bad actors come along, you get stuck with, guess who? The same names as usual. Because so many bad actors have come along and turned people off. They're like, what the hell? What I need to do something with somebody new for when you about to do the same thing that these jive turkeys doing?
Come on, talk.
You know, so it's very unfortunate. And as I always say, sometimes you have to look at it and just know that their plan is working.
Yeah.
And if we don't hunker down and get back to it, you can kumbaya the hell away all night long, because once certain people get what they want, ain't gonna be a damn thing left.
And right there where I'm glad you hit, because of the transition on batting cages and baseball fields. For individuals that are not actively or in sports, baseball is the highest paid sports. And that's why I feel like they took a lot of our batting cages and the batting fields, because they didn't want us to participate. So I encourage in making that transition into that conversation. We should have batting fields and batting cages actively throughout our community to engage our individuals and actually set them up for being on the Tigers and et cetera, et cetera. And I believe we had a Willie Thornton program that was going on every summer. So I just, expound onto that, because that's a real conversation.
It's easy to take something away that you get paid on so many different levels to where you got 1,000 guys fighting over that one orange ball. When this little itty bitty white ass ball
Come on.
has so many different pay levels.
Talk
Let me
about
tell you
it.
something.
Talk about it. Educate us.
If I can get paid to do what I love, if I'm a baseball player from the hood and you gonna offer me $35,000 to just come play baseball, I think I'm the shit.
Come on. 'Cause you're
I
doing
don't have
what
to go
you
to
like
work every
to
day.
do. Yes.
I'm not going to work. I'm going to do what I love to do, and that's to hit a ball, to catch the ball, ice, heat, go home. Room and board paid for. You got a facility. Food is there. So you got $35,000 in 6-7 months just to put up. Where am I confused at?
Why is it accessible to our communities and our children?
But again, everything is done with the plan.
Come on.
And softball seat ain't here for a reason. But Joe Dumars is still sitting over there.
And that's a travesty. Talking about some Joe Dumars, but we're not going to go there.
Oh,
But they're going to get us started on sports.
So, with that being said, you are watching WJZZ Cool TV, The Quarantine, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter live. Follow, share, comment, subscribe, all that stuff that y'all like to do when you stalk people. Stalk us. Enjoy us. Invite us into your lives and your homes and your heart. And it looks like we got a phone call, and I was going to keep ministering because I got my hands on the minister, you know. But hello, can I help you?
How you doing? This is Denzel Mccampbell.
Man, how you doing, dog?
Doing well. How you doing?
I am all right, brother. I was actually about to introduce you, but you called, so
Perfect timing.
all right, very perfect timing. So you know what? I'm gonna let Roz do it. 'Cause she does a hell of a job better than me. So Roz, please.
Thank you, Dre. Now, thank you, Denzel Mccampbell, for joining us this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, he is our candidate for Detroit City Clerk. He is joining us this evening. He's going to give us a little intro of who he is, what he's doing in our community, and actually why we should vote for him. And if we're going to join his team, how we can get involved. So go ahead, Denzel, jump into it.
Well, thank you, Rosalind. Thank you all for having me on. I really appreciate it. As was said, everyone, my name is Denzel Mccampbell. I am running for Detroit City Clerk. Just a little bit about myself. I was born and raised on the city's east side, currently living on the west side near Rouge Park. And I was born to two union parents, which is not a uncommon story to have union folks in your family. But my mom was a social worker with the state of Michigan, and was a part of the UAW, and my dad was an auto worker with Chrysler and was a part of UAW. And I've shared this story before. Rosalind has heard it, but my mom grew up 25 miles away from Selma. She was born in 1955, so she grew up during the Jim Crow era. And growing up, she told me about the memories she had as a child of seeing the dogs and hoses and such turned on black folks for simply wanting to vote. So that really instilled in me a passion around voting rights and civic engagement. And since then, right out of college, I started doing election protection work. And this involved a nonpartisan effort of talking to voters, getting feedback from voters and complaints from voters across the state on various different municipalities on the issues they have with voting. And we oftentimes had reports from Detroit of polling locations that were closed with no notice, of folks being turned away and not being able to vote when they should have been voting, of not having signage up at polling locations when their polling location has moved. And unfortunately, we continue to see those problems, even though civic engagement groups have gone to the clerk's office to offer help and have been turned away. So I'm running for city clerk to increase that accessibility to the ballot box, to fight back against these voting rights attacks that we're seeing from Lansing. We need to have a strong city clerk that can build coalitions with community groups to make sure folks know what's going on and what's coming down the pipeline, but also to increase civic education in the city by creating a civic education corps of folks in the neighborhoods, complement to the work that block clubs, neighborhood associations, and civic engagement groups are doing, but going door to door to ask folks what issues are important to you and actually connecting the dots on who in government has the power to change and engage on those issues. So in that way, we're going to start to build up that education, start to connect the dots, start to give folks the tools so that they can participate civically. Because it's not that folks don't care about what's going on, it's that we just haven't equipped them with the tools to actually take action, and that's what I want to do as city clerk.
Okay, well, I don't want to be rude, so ladies first. If you have any questions, first off, man,
I ain't gonna say
thank you. Hold on. Thank you for being on here, and thank you for being an alumnus of mine from the MPLP program. This is a really good guy.
Yes, he is.
But outside of that,
I appreciate that.
I'm gonna let Roz get on you real quick, if that's what she chooses to do. If not, hey, you got a good person here then.
Yes.
So Roz,
Denzel is amazing. He does a lot of work in the community, and he's very humble. He is also our charter commission, right? Part of our charter commission, and he is also. I always say people's titles wrong. What is your title with our 13th congressional representative, Rashida Tlaib?
Absolutely. Yes. Yep. I do serve as the Detroit Charter Revision Commission, and we can have a whole show talking about what's going down with that. But I also serve as like for real.
For real.
But also serve as it's a lot, and even news broke today.
Okay.
But I serve as Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib's communication director. I'm currently on leave campaigning for a time, but I've been with her since she came into office in 2019.
Yes, and I uplift that because of the work you do and hold with those two titles in itself, along with other policies and integration. And so the question that I would pose that for you to be able to translate and articulate to the community, you know all the voter suppression laws that are currently being moved nationally. As our city clerk, what would you do to protect us, or to either protect us or make sure that we're more informed to have access to voter rights right now?
Right. I think what's important to know, as you mentioned, it's 37 bills that the GOP has put forth. And, they're going to try to spin it to say these are to protect the election integrity, or these is to make it easier to vote. But when you actually read the bills and really dive deep into them, these are definitely voter suppression bills. These are bills that is a result of Republicans seeing that black and brown folks turned out in record numbers in 2020. They want to rig the system so that they can win. And we've seen it so oftentimes in Michigan. We saw it when they tried to change how presidential electoral votes are distributed because they don't want the folks in Detroit to run how the state goes. Well, we have the largest population. So to answer your question, as a city clerk, these bills are going through the legislature. And we have Governor Whitmer in the governor's position to veto these bills. But there is a small clause that a lot of folks don't know about that allows the legislature to actually go around the governor to implement legislation. And they can do this through an initiative process of collecting signatures and such. And what folks should be on the lookout is that while these bills will most likely be vetoed, we still have to be vigilant for when they try to collect signatures and send this to the legislature. Because that was what we expect to come next. So as a city clerk, I want to make sure that folks get this information. Right now, we're not even getting this information from our city clerk. And this person should be the biggest advocate to say, these voter suppression bills are coming down. These are attacks on our voting rights. It's a direct target on Detroit. And folks have seen the imagery. I talked about the memories that my mom shared. She passed away early last year, but I know if she would have been around and saw the imagery of, black and brown folks counting the ballots in TCF, and you have majority white folks banging on the glass as if they're doing something wrong, she would have said that that's reminiscent of the Jim Crow era, because we know we're in a new Jim Crow era. So we have to have a city clerk that is actually engaging community groups and community members to prepare us for, the deceitful tactics to come down and try to collect signatures to say that it's about something else. And when it really is, we're signing a petition to give away our voting rights.
So let me ask you a quick question, and I'm glad it came up because I was actually going to bring it up. A few years ago, when I was campaigning for a local organization I won't name, I knocked on a door that had my grandmother's name on this list. Now, what freaked me out was I know for a fact my grandma was dead because my ass helped carry her out the damn church to the hearse, out the hearse to her final resting place. So, my question is, what can you possibly do to help clean up this voters list to make it accurate so we don't have these, I'm not going to curse, I already did. So we don't have Republicans saying that everything we do in the city of Detroit is dirty. What can you do to assist in that? Because I already see in 2024 this thing is going to come up again. I believe Donald Trump is going to run again. So the shoebox is going to pop all open again. So how are you going to prepare us to get ready for that? Clean up the voters list, going, as far as protections from fraud, things like that.
Absolutely, and it's. I'm glad you brought that up because it's really key, right? That we have a system that folks understands, a system that folks believe in, right? Because we know when we look at the data, we know that it's more likely for lightning to strike a person than it is for voter fraud to happen. So we know that but yeah, when you do have things such as the experience that you had, we do have to make sure that we clean up the list. And that's why I bring up the civic education court, because it's not just increasing civic education, but it's actually having a face-to-face interaction with the clerk's office, election year or not. So again, these are folks that are going to be doing door-to-door. They're going to be calling folks. They're going to have community forums to check up on folks, make sure that the voter registration is all set, that everything is if you move, here are the tools to update your address. If there is no one there yet, and we've tried multiple times in accordance with the law, because the election law already sets out a set criteria on how we remove folks from the roll if they are deceased, if they moved out. It has that in the law, but making sure that we actually follow those things and we implement it in a way that when we also have to be careful of, that we're not purging people from the voting rolls who should be on the voting rolls, right? Because that is something that has happened before in the city of Detroit, that folks were incorrectly purged. So we have to strike that balance in between and making sure we have a clean list of voters, but also making sure that we're not, again, disenfranchising folks. And I think a key way is to involve that face-to-face interaction with the civic engagement corps or education.
Let me ask you another question. When and if you are elected, you will be meeting with city council and the mayor pretty much for a budget every year as long as you sit in that seat. Are you prepared to deal with that? Because it's one thing to watch it on TV and hear about what's going on, but what I think you're going to do when and if elected is try to do some positive things. Are you prepared to hear no to changes that you want to implement? Because you are looking at an entirely different city council coming in.
That's true.
Oh, you're right, and I think that's a good point. And I think voters and the folks who are listening should keep that in mind, that we think, what is it, 4 open seats that we have.
Hey man, look, you mean 9 open seats? I mean,
well, 9 open.
8 open
sorry,
seats.
let me see this. 4 seats that incumbents aren't running in. So you're guaranteed to have someone new in those positions, right?
I said it wrong, man. One of them seats we know for a fact is already taken. So, but I ain't gonna go there tonight. This your night, dog. This your night.
Yeah. But no, I think you bring up a good question, right? And
right.
I'm proposing a new program that is gonna need resources. That is gonna need resources to print things, to pay folks to do this. I think it's a couple of things, right? One is engage in community, for community to know that these things are needed, right? I've already been knocking doors and making phone calls to folks, and when I bring up the things that I want to do, especially the Civic Education Corps, folks really light up, right? Like it's like a light bulb. They're like, yes, we need that. So one is actually, yes, engage in community to say, here are the priorities of the city clerk's office. I need your help to ensure that city council and the mayor actually makes it a priority of those, right? Continue to do that community organizing while I'm in that role. But 2, what we're talking about is increased civic engagement.
Yes.
This is not a partisan issue. This is not an ideological issue.
Exactly.
This is not me saying that, I'm opposed to your pet project on city council. What it's actually doing is that actually you can use this as a way to get the word out about what you're doing as well. So I'm prepared to have that conversation with city council members. I think at the end of the day, you all know that I'm not afraid to do this. But if there is someone who becomes a roadblock on increasing civic education and civic engagement, then the public should know about that, and I'm prepared to do that. But I'm not going to first go to that. I'm prepared to build those relationships and really walk the council members and the mayor through why this is needed and how it will benefit all of their work and all the work that's going on across the city of Detroit.
Denzel, before I give it back to Roz, I want you to do me a favor real quick. How old are you?
I'm 29.
Ladies and gentlemen, I asked that question because really, what are we going to move towards? When you're talking about a man that's 29, a woman that's in her early 40s, a man that's in his mid-30s, close to 40, you're talking about age and longevity that probably is needed at this point in time, considering what the hell we're just coming off of. This pandemic has touched everything, and so the hell did that Donald Trump presidency. So I thank you for calling in, man. I just wanted to point that out because, I need people to understand that a paradigm is coming. A shift is coming, whether you want to see it, whether you want to be around it or not. It's coming.
It's coming.
And if we don't do our part to make sure we're on the right side of that shift, you remember Paradise Valley? You remember Black Wall Street? Things can get repeated. They've already shown that things can be repeated. But with that being said, I'm going to pass it back to Roz. Thank you again, Denzel, man.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. And I think you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And there's a paradigm shift that's happened in this country. It's a paradigm shift that's happened in the city. And we really have to, like you say, ensure we're not only that we're ready, that we're actively, right, that we're actively setting the table on what we want it to be.
Yes, thank you. And actually, this will be my last question, and then we'll open up and see if we have any callers. But he hit it like literally the hammer on the nail where I was going to pivot my question towards the euphemism, right? So the technology. So when Garland ran for city clerk, he had a conversation of more digitalization and us actually having a receipt, right? So I think I want to pose that question to you by if you win and succeed to be our city clerk, how would that transition of the guard work digitally and our impact into the 2022 mentality? Because we know there was a lot of digital barriers that that we came against. And even like I was just talking today about the QR code, right? That actually propelled us into a higher level of registering voters and et cetera and et cetera. So just to give the voters a little insight how we say the millennial or the different generation has the integration to make sure that we could be more effective, and then, like we said, block that voter suppression, but allow us to have access to what we need to concerning voting and education and etc.
Absolutely. And I think I really do think Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist, when he ran for city clerk, he was right on with the way that we should use technology and civic engagement in the clerk's office. I mean, folks may remember, there was a big thing of the city spending millions of dollars to upgrade IT, right? We spent so much to upgrade our technology. Why is it now that we still can't go online and see how our city council person voted on an agenda item, right? The clerk said, well, it's not too hard. You can call down and we'll send it to you. It's 2021. Other cities are doing it. You should be able to see how your council person voted by a click of a button. We should have you have so many seniors that watch the city channels on cable. We should have a rundown of the city council votes, a rundown of the boards and commissions and when they're meeting. We should have all of that accessible, not only on the digital platform, online and social media, and employing things such as digital ads, but we should have that on the city's channels. We should have that in print. We should have that on radio. We should be using all of the tools at our disposal to reach folks where they are. Because I know you all are community organizers in your own right. We have to meet folks where they are. We're not gonna approach a person in a way that we know doesn't match up where they are. That's just not going to work in our organizing. So why are we doing that in city government? And it's not just the clerk's office that does that, but for me, when running for this office, the first thing I want to do when I first get in office is to sit down with community groups that serve all ages and all demographics, community members of all ages and demographics, employees in the city clerk's office, other stakeholders, and say, here are the services and here are the things that the city clerk's office is supposed to provide. How can we get this to you in the most efficient way, in the most practical way, and the most accessible way? Because we are a government office. Why is there not a feedback loop? I am here because of the people. I work on behalf of the people. I should be taking direction for them, and I should be getting information out in a way that they see fit, not only in election years, but off years as well. And that's what I really want to do the first day in, to start that feedback loop, to make sure folks know that this will not be a city clerk's office that that is just in the Department of Election building or the Coleman Young Center. It's a city clerk that you are going to see throughout the community, through having those conversations, adjusting things as they need to be adjusted on how the residents want civic engagement and voting to happen in their city.
So you just gonna come on my show and campaign?
He did a great job.
Hey man, all right, I got one more question. And I mean, to some people it's silly, but for me, it's a logical and a real question. Will we ever get to a point to where voting is done online over an app?
The word, that thing of I never say never. I'm not gonna say never. I think we would get to that one day, but here's what we have to do to get to there first. Mm-hmm. We talked about restoring people's trust in the system. Mm-hmm. It's not that folks. I think the majority of folks you encounter understands that voter fraud doesn't happen, right? Like that, like what happened in 2020 was the Republicans and Trump's lies. I think folks understand that. Right. But there's still a lot of work to be done for folks to understand the process, or to trust in it, as we talked about, right? Like, how can we expect folks to trust in the system when they do all they can do to turn out to a polling location and it's closed? We have to really fix the foundation of how we're doing election administration so we can have a fully engaged and participating electorate. We have to move money out of politics, right? So that can increase the trust in our systems. And so we have to move towards these places to make it more accessible, to increase the trust. So then we can use technology I mean, right now you can name so many things that we probably think we couldn't have done. Right? You go pay taxes online. You get your driver's license renewed online. You do so many things that we thought, wow, that's such a secure thing. We may not be able to ever do it, and we do it now. Right. So I do think voting can get to that place, but we really have to ensure that our foundation is solid to do that. But I think we're moving in that direction, and we need folks in those seats and those roles on the municipal level, on the county level, at the state and federal level to ensure that we have the resources and the accessibility to voting to make sure that happens.
Well, I definitely appreciate you calling in. You definitely have a couple of people here that fit those roles you just spoke of. I'm not going to campaign tonight. This is your night again. But, yeah, thank you. I appreciate you calling in, your words. I appreciate you having the gumption to even stand up to run for that seat because we know how that goes. Roz, any parting words?
Once again, thank you, Denzel Mccampbell, for showing up and being a guest on our show this evening. Can you please let our audience know a way to get in contact with you, upcoming events, and if they would like to join the team?
Absolutely, and I definitely want to thank y'all again for having me on. When Roz hit me up, I was like, absolutely, because I know y'all are folks who are in touch with community. Y'all are folks who actually walk the walk. Y'all do the work. So I definitely appreciate y'all having me on. If folks want to learn more about the campaign, you can visit www.denzel4Detroit. That's all spelled out, DENZELFOR, Detroit.com. You can visit on Facebook. If you type in Den, DENZ, McCampbell, MCCAMPBELL, you'll find our Facebook page. That's our tag for all of our social media for the campaign, Denz McCampbell, or you can search Denzel Mccampbell to show up. And we also have our volunteer link on our website, which again is www.denzel4detroit.com. Definitely would love for folks to, if you have any questions, to reach out to us on our website or social media. If you liked what you heard and you want to be involved, this is a grassroots campaign. While the city clerk's office is very important, we don't get as much attention as a city council or a mayoral race, but we're doing the work. We're knocking doors, we're making phone calls, and would love for folks to come out and join us.
Thank you very much, Denzel. This has been amazing.
Give
them some hand claps. There we go.
They clapping for you, dog. they clapping for you, man. You did your thing in here tonight, bro.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
And last but not least, is there any upcoming events that you are hosting that you would like the community to come out in?
Absolutely. So every weekend we're going to have door knocking events that you can join. You only need to bring yourself. You can bring a friend, but bring some good walking shoes. We'll train you. We have water, snacks, and things that we're going to be door knocking. We do that every weekend. We also, if you're not available during the week and you reach out to us, we'll go out on the week. We go out on the weekdays as well, and we have phone banking. So that's a major part of what we're doing as well. But if you go to our Facebook page, Denzel Mccampbell for Detroit City Clerk, you can search that as well. You'll see all of our events, and we're adding new events day after day. Tonight we just had a fun trivia event with Congresswoman Tlaib. We had some Detroit and Michigan trivia. So look out for those type of events to pop up throughout the campaign.
They clapping for you again, dog. They like you, man. I guess you're doing your thing, man. So,
appreciate it.
All right, man. I definitely appreciate you, man. And we're going to chop it up again before this election, man. Please.
For sure.
Thank you,
y'all
Denzel.
so much.
We appreciate you. You have a wonderful evening and a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon, sir.
You too. Stay cool, y'all. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Sir.
Bye-bye.
You too.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you heard, like I said earlier, it's getting hot outside and it's about to get hot in these voting booths.
Yes.
You block club leaders better be paying attention because it's about to get hot on your phones too.
Yes.
People are about to be calling y'all, trying to talk to you about how good they are and how they should be on your Zoom meeting or in person if that's what you choose to do.
Yes, whoever meeting in person for
But
their block.
ladies and gentlemen, again, this is your city,
Come on.
your election,
That's it.
your candidates, your elected officials. If you yourself don't get out and do what you need to do, encourage others to get out and do what they need to do, you have really no right to complain. Of course, it's America, and I can't tell anybody what they can or cannot say.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, don't call me with it. Because I'm going to ask you, did you vote? If you tell me no,
Did you vote?
I might give you a middle finger and say, why you telling me? Why you calling me? I don't want to hear you crying. Because your time was in November, in August, when I was out there sweating, telling people to get activated. When Roz was out there sweating, telling people to get activated. When we had people calling in to our show, coming in to our show. Sometimes the studio's been hot, but they did it anyway. So again, if you choose not to get out there and do your part and vote, zip it. And I'm just going to be very upfront, straight about it. I don't care. I ain't going to care to listen to that bullshit. Because I'm going to go vote. Anyway. It's 8:47, man, and I just want to hit on one thing real quick. What the hell is going on in Highland Park?
Oh, yeah. I did. And, I'm not even going to say that. I'm like, oh, glad that wasn't us.
Right.
I was like, do I know that cop, that officer? Oh, no,
I
know
was
her.
very disturbed when I turned on my TV the other day and
Had to
seen
have a
a
sip on
cop
that.
was doing a hand over hand. For y'all to know what a hand over hand is, inside the gas station,
Yeah.
use your motto and think. It was disturbing because that means she's not the only one.
No.
No way, shape, form, or fashion is she the only one.
And so I talk about, okay, so we got Highland Park and Hamtramck, which is the cities inside the city of Detroit, right?
Oh, man. Ain't Hamtramck where the cop shot his son in the stomach and he just get...
So what we've identified is that it's an intentional not to just have good leadership in Detroit, but in our sister cities, right? And so a lot of us has been saying it's time to intentionally start identifying our issues that's going on, because we've been discussing this heroin and them little silver things. What I was telling you about their air pressurizer. The kids were trying to tell me like they're like you make whipped cream. You probably like the thing to aerate the whipped cream stuff or to put air in something.
So this shit
They're
got a sweet
smoking.
flavor to it or something?
I don't know. They're inhaling this stuff.
Oh,
and so the point is like we're saying in some of these communities, we gotta uplift this. And then we know crack been in our communities, right? But when the opioid epidemic occurred in our surrounding cities, they attacked that aggressively.
Well, I mean, it's just like they attacked people hitting on Asians. Aggressively.
Yeah.
When we've been getting the shit beat out of us, excuse my language, some people, but I get very upset about this. Getting the shit beat out of us for the last umpteen something 100 years, and I still ain't seen a damn emergency anything yet with a sister as your VP.
There we
but
go.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, see, now he about to make me go on the 13th Amendment. But I'm not going to do that tonight. We're going to make a whole show on that.
See what I'm saying?
We're going to do a whole show on that.
This 1 hour may have to be increased
We need another hour,
man,
yeah.
like,
But I feel like what it just uplifted and identified is if these things that are going on in our sister city that's smaller, right? Highland Park, a lot of people, when we say this, don't have light poles on their main streets. I mean, on their actual regular streets. They only have light poles on Woolworth and Hamilton.
Damn, you just threw me with that one.
Yes, DTE Ben took their poles out years ago. And so when we talk about the crime level, we talk about the water shutoffs, right? When we talk about how much their city council make, right, which is a part-time role, right? So when we talk about really and break this down and get educated on these specific positions and really what the people are doing, then we identify and see why the level of the criminality is such intent. And then you say, what we said earlier, bad characters that still exist and been in play for eons. So I just make that transition when we have a couple of minutes of why it's so important to be educated about the process, understanding the timing.
Yeah.
Because timing is everything, ladies and gentlemen. I say I was born in California, but then I came to Michigan, a 4-season state. And so by saying that, I look at different variations of what go on. And so I feel like right now we're in the timing, we're in the season to 1, pay attention, 2, get educated, 3, to put the right person in position, but then 4, to literally get what we need. And so I get ready to transfer it back over to Dre, that as a community leader, right now being a project leader over Hope Garden Project, over in D1, but making sure that conversation is not just stuck there, that we can have it throughout the city. Because the main thing is what I'm trying to consistently say is that we should be at the forefront. Who is we? Residents that been here, that never left, that paid their taxes, that still are paying the highest utility bill in the country. But we still should have implementations in our community that reduce our bills. You said we almost got how much? $9 million?
$800 million plus
almost
coming.
$900 million. And we still had a mayor that proposed to us, asking about ideas, but never got survey dropped in our link. Never got the survey dropped in our emails. Never really captured our information based on preset questions that he had already identified. So I say why it's imperative and crucial for us to put right leadership in position, because if not, like Dre say, when the takeover occur and the same regime is in position, or we'll say the head regime appointed, the same mentality in position, don't complain, don't mumble and grumble, just sit back. Because if you sit back and don't vote, if you sit back and don't get engaged, if you sit back and don't activate, once again, I make this transition. If you're not at the table, you will be on the menu. Dre, I pass it to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know what we do. If you don't like it, I feel sorry for you. We keep it real in here, and that's what we're going to continue to do. Get it together, people. You have got to get it together. We have got to get it together. We have got to stop stabbing each other in the back. And stop that shooting shit, man.
Please.
Cut that shit out.
Please.
Just because you disagree with me, because you bump me, or I make a mistake and bump you, bruh. We killing each other and steadily fighting to live every day with everything else.
Speak.
So, do me a favor. If you don't like your brothers or your sisters, if you want to live such a fast life to where we have to pay as people that want to grow and get old and see what that shit like, I want to see what it's like to get white one day. I don't remember what it was when I was a baby. Let us get there.
Grow old.
If you don't want to go, I never condone harming yourself, but help us help you. We'll walk you to the river and sing for you while you go dive in, because you probably can't swim. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is the quarantine. Love you. Rest in peace, Nipsey.
Yes.
G5G.
And look out for Politics in the Park. If you've seen our promotion, it's coming soon. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep your eye open for Politics in the Park.